So, for a film club, I was asked to watch some Buster Keaton movies. So, after watching Sherlock Jr., which I really liked, I wanted to watch more silent and classic movies. So, I watched The General, which is another silent comedy, and I found these movies to be pretty harmless and just enjoyable. So I decided to watch some more silent films, not by Buster Keaton. And that's when I realized I had never seen a Charlie Chaplin movie. So I thought, why not start at The Great Dictator? And at the time, I did not know that this movie was not a silent movie. And after watching it, I was just floored. While the Buster Keaton movies I had seen prior to this were harmless and funny, The Great Dictator, which is not by Buster Keaton, actually had some deeper messages and stuff to say. And this was in 1940. So in this video, I would like to look at some of the deeper themes and messages of The Great Dictator, whether intentional or not. Because I think this is one of the most revolutionary films ever made. It was mixing comedy and drama in 1940, where that thing is still rare to find today. This movie deserves to be analyzed, and I'm going to start with the globe scene. So in this scene, Hinkle is playing with the globe, and I think in this scene, Chaplin is trying to show what a dictator of the world would look like. One man who literally has the world in the palm of his hands. To him, the world is just a toy, something else that he can control. And here Chaplin is showing that society cannot function under a dictatorship because the world that he is playing with pops. The Great Dictator does have deeper things to say about political stuff, but when it comes to its themes, it's not saying anything more than being evil is evil and being good is good, and that showing kindness is all we're really here for. A message can be simple, but it's still a message, and it's still very powerful. And the message that Charlie Chaplin was trying to convey becomes crystal clear at the end when he delivers his final speech. And I think this speech is one of the greatest in all of cinematic history. I don't want to repeat what Chaplin says here because I could never say it how he says it. So I would recommend you just go watch this speech because it is a masterpiece of writing. Basically, what Chaplin is saying here is that humans want to be good and they want to do what is right for their fellow neighbor and brother and sister, but greed has consumed humanity. And this is where I would like to get into the relationship between Hinkle and the tramp in this movie. What I believe Chaplin was trying to say by making himself play Hinkle and the tramp is that Hinkle really is just anyone, and that we put these dictators on a pedestal which gives them all the power. Hitler, like you and me, was just a person. Hinkle and the tramp are both bumbling fools, but two things separate them from each other: kindness and bravery. Hinkle is a bumbling dweeb who got into power by spreading hate, and the tramp got into power by gaining friends, people who respected him. I would now like to start talking about how Chaplin mixed genres and how he would toe the line so perfectly between comedy and straight up violence. He'll show you something funny like this.
You're invading Austerlitz.
And he'll be like, oh, you think war is funny? Well, think again. And then he'll show you something like this. Hinkle isn't just a harmless goof like the tramp. No, his actions have consequences. Those consequences are death. Chaplin toes the line between comedy and drama so perfectly in this movie. Chaplin could have made a straight-up serious war movie, but he realized how idiotic the people in power are that he had to make fun of them in some way. This movie reminds me a lot of Dr. Strangelove because of how it portrays its very important political figures and their relationship to war. I would be interested to know how much Kubrick borrowed from Chaplin while making Dr. Strangelove, because they are very, very similar. Overall, I am very happy that I chose to watch this movie. I would be blown away if I saw this in theaters today, so considering this was made in 1940, really elevates the movie. I am extremely excited to check out more of Chaplin's work and more classic movies. The Great Dictator is now one of my all-time favorites, and I would highly recommend you check it out. It's entertaining, funny, and meaningful, and I'm gonna give it 100% toothpaste meter. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. Check out The Great Dictator, and remember,
always look on the bright side of life.